be the first lineup that we are having a look at. We got the 20th Kazekage, another ganker, Salt, Geo, and Hui. Is it Hui? Is it Hui? I don't know, but
since there's a champion named Hui, I'm gonna say Hui.
Hui.
I like how the names get progressively chill, right?
Yeah,
it's
for real.
20th Kazekage
Coming out the gate,
right? Yeah, just right out the gate, and then we eventually get down to like Geo, and it's like, all right, sick, dope, all right, cool. Yeah, I think right now, I think the meta is pretty defined. Bot laners are still complaining that bot lane's kind of weak. Kind of depends on the AD carry you're picking. Of course, you agree. I think Varus, Lucian, these kind of champions, very, very strong. But once you kind of get down to the lower rung of ADCs, that second, third tier, it can be really difficult to carry, right? Once you see like the Ashes, the Jins, that kind of stuff. I have been really enjoying this jungle mid meta that we've been kind of going over. A lot of carry junglers have been coming in, right? A lot of like 2v2, hard 2v2 mids into transferring that power into your bot lane or using it to go top to get the grubs, that kind of stuff. I think most teams that have mastered this meta have mastered how strong mid 2v2 matchup is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And, it's really nice, right? Because you can pick a mid laner that is like, okay, early on, I'm supportive toward my carry jungler, but later on, I become a carry. As we can see RIT's roster here, we have Haxer up in the top lane, Maxander in the jungle, Arceus in mid lane, Meowno at bot lane, and Zydus at support. And Maxander is certainly a player to watch, Shibby. I was, digging deep into the archives last night with our main producer, Adam, and Maxander is a guy that I was like sitting here, I'm like, why is this not competing in open qualifiers? Dude's, challenger, he's like 200. He's a pretty good player.
And start looking to invade him on his Raptor respawn, on his Gromp, whatever, right? Wherever you have lane priority, really make it uncomfortable for another ganker.
Well, let's see how uncomfy he's going to be. Are we talking, sand in your sandals, right? Or are we talking like very, very nice, cool leather couch, right? As we have made it onto Summoner's Rift here. And already the junglers get a little scrappy, just throwing a couple pot shots at each other. It means we're in for a heated game, right?
I was thinking jeans and socks in the bed, kind of uncomfy. You know what I mean? God. Like that's
that reminds me of the Challengers League commercial where Kangas hops out of his bed with his shoes on. That is pretty uncomfy, if you ask me.
Criminal. If you sleep with your shoes on or with jeans, you need to be checked out, I would say. But 5-point defense, starting pretty much for all of these teams here.
I want to derail that for a second. So, like, what happens? What happens if you come home from like a long day of work and you fall asleep on the couch in your jeans? Does that count?
No one's too EP to change out of their pants. Yanni,
I don't know, man. I have been known to be an EP soldier from time to time. Okay, now you can go talk about the jungle pathing.
Yeah, I mean, both of these junglers starting on opposite sides of the map is now this Maokai trying to get funky early, right? You have to do that in this bot lane because once this Varus Milio hit level 2, level 3, you can't do anything, right? You've got the ball to kick away any sort of advancement from the Maokai. But yeah, the jungle pathing, going back to it, both these junglers starting on opposite sides here, not looking to meet eye to eye. I think another ganker, smart choice from him to kind of avoid potential Bel'Veth invade. Bel'Veth kind of has to spot this out and, has to count the camps, has to maybe scout out the Raptors. So if they're looking for a Raptors respawn invade, they can do that. But I really like that another ganker and the rest of his team kind of prevented Rochester from getting any deep vision down to any of these jungle camps. So Maxander can't really invade with knowledge.
Yeah, and we have seen how much that early vision has been so positively impactful for the team that gets it, right? I feel like now this season, more than seasons past, we're seeing like junglers walk in and they're getting solo kills and things like that because they're catching people by surprise. And speaking of potentially by surprise, this has been word out, but it was a good flash engage, and Meowno could be in a little bit of trouble. Does have flash available, but is down a ghost for right now. So they're just trying to walk it out, but could see a lot of damage coming through. Good flash, but good patience from another ganker. The heals are coming out from the campfire, but I think the damage might just be a little bit too strong. Oh man, that's the power of Milio. This is first blood from Meowno.
Yeah, playing that 2v3 the best of their ability. I think Zydus, the only thing he could have done is potentially tried to step in front of that Viego E, right? The stun there from Viego. If you step in front of that, you potentially give Miano a little bit more time to do more DPS, but it's a 1-for-1 overall. The wave's not going to get shoved in time, so realistically, Varus coming out on top with the first blood. He's going to pack that wave up. Yes, Geo has red buff, but how effective is it going to be in this lane? How much time with this red buff are they going to get? Maxander's fine. He gets a free scuttle to himself. He's on pace for his jungle camps. Meanwhile, another ganker is going to be late on his camp rotations, and he's not going to hit level 6 as fast as this Bel'Veth, which is so crucial early on because you want to try to stop those early objectives so she can't get into her Steve, manta ray form.
Her what form?
I don't want to say it, man. You know who I'm talking about.
That's what I thought, Shibby. Put some respect on the man's name, but put some respect on the name of Miano and Zetas, because, listen, winning a 3v2, even if Melio is busted, is still a very, very tough thing to do. And you talked about how this is going to be big for Miano. Miano up 10 CS right now. I generally think they're pretty okay with how that went, especially because now they're up about 600 gold. Ooh, sliding in is Salt.
Mid-lane.
Salt got feared, though. Doesn't have that much mana, but Hui is here. Oh, man. I just realized that they picked Hui, and they have, Hui on one side, Hui on the other.
Yep, that's why I gotta make the distinction early. Imagine if you pronounce it Hui, right?
Oh, no.
As we might see
There's
a potential
no Hui, I
dive
would
because
live that one down.
we went mid lane. Oh, this is a decent dive opportunity. I kind of wish they pulled the trigger here, just because they know that mid lane is not there, right? They know that Maokai's on a roam here. They should have just pulled the trigger, but instead they're gonna go for that early dragon. Dragon for Grubs trade. You'll take that. That's a typical trade here. But I feel like Rochester could get so much more.
Yeah, I will say the good news for them is that they are getting Ocean Drake. Ocean Drake being the strongest lane Drake, as many have said in the past, and will continue to say for as long as it lives, because, you get that extra regen. That is pretty massive. Will you take it over 3 grubs is the question, Shibby. I know you are a grub enjoyer, as I've become a grub enjoyer as time has gone on. Who do you think wins out on this trade?
I think if you're looking at the team comp specifically, right, I don't realistically think the Jinx or the Yone or the Azir are going to do too much with it, right? It's nice later on, right? Because now Yone, if he goes into that, Hull Breaker, potentially, we see Bork into Frostborn Gauntlet, if he goes that side lane build, and they are allowed to get that 5 to 6 grub mark, doesn't matter what 20th Kazekage does from minute 1 to win at minute 20. If he's split pushing you down, he's going to be able to take your whole side lane within a couple seconds because of the amount of pushing power Grubs gives you. So it will be impactful later into the game. As of right now, though, I will say Rochester have won the early game objective trade.
Yeah, I'm sure that they are very happy with that. You can see Salt is
Killing?
taking a lot of damage. This could be a kill, but looks like Salt... Ooh, it was a nice little sidestep there. Had to have the dancing shoes on. But very, very worrisome getting pushed out like that.
Yeah, and with everything that's transpired, Rochester have netted themselves a nice 1,000 gold lead, right? You look at Aatrox in the top lane, he's got a small CS lead, Bel'Veth's got a small camp lead, even you look at a bottom lane here with that first blood money plus CS, they've just kind of out-mechanicked TMU, which we expected to happen, right? Because of how early game-centric Rochester's composition is, you're gonna go down 1,000 gold here and there. It's now, can TMU stem the bleeding? Can they not bleed too much more? 2,000, 3,000, 4,000? It easily stacks up. Trust me, I'm an expert in credit card debt.
The one thing that really made me curious was when they sent 3 to go up and do the grubs. Obviously, grubs can take a little bit of time, right? But, you committed your Azir, you committed your Yone, right? You already know that RIT has the stronger lanes. So you're just putting your laners further behind, and I do wonder if that will come back to bite them because, you saw the gold flash up for a little bit there. Mostly the difference is in top lane, but now Arkezis has kind of gotten control of the mid lane ever since Salt went up there and left.
Yeah, we talked about that Hui matchup and how it can kind of be a little annoying for the Azir because he's used to being more the longer range champion. He's used to bullying the other mid lane mages. But Hui is just so good at trading back damage, and he also has the utility of his different abilities, right? Like he can give himself a speed up to outplay you, potentially fear you if you want to go in. As now, Alexander looking for a gank here.
Flash for flash, but they will try to turn onto the Maokai here. Maokai with a good knockback and flashing away will be able to survive. You know, Shibby, Miano burning both summoners. I think it might have been better served to just target the Maokai.
Yeah, I mean, you try to go for that, the 2-for-0 play, right, if you are Rochester, but I think they played it really well. GL flashed the Chain of Corruptions. Hui as well, you saw, when Belveth went for the stun, instead of flashing it, used the Twisted Advanced Invulnerability to dodge that out, and then flashed the follow-up CC potential or damage. Really, really well played from both of these guys, and to avoid that gank when you're so far pushed up, you waste the Belveth's time here as Maxander potentially looking to fight. There's a 3v3 skirmish about to happen, potentially 3v4. Maokai's here.
Yeah, big knockups coming through. Let's see if Haxor can do anything because it is just an odd man fight. He's got the World Ender popped, but he's got to run for the hills because Maxander couldn't get there. Flash burnt, and they managed to take out Arkezis and only burn a flash out of the Azir, but bottom lane here, it looks like Geo should be able to walk it out.
Yeah, and we talked about it early, right? How does TMU win these fights early on? What do? They fight unfair, right? They throw pocket sand in your face. They call up their buddies. They say, you know what? It's not a 3v3. It's a 4v3. We're going to have Hui kind of roam all the way up in the top lane, be this big burly CC machine. And despite your champions being stronger early, they're not going to win a 4v3 here. And so the second set of grubs is actually going to go over to TMU Blue here. That's going to give them 6 grub stacks. It's going to hatch 2 voidlings, or as you call them, Twitch chatters, every time they auto, and that's going to give them immense pushing power, and they don't really lose much for it. They can reset, walk their way to drag in 30 seconds, and fight for that too if they want.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the ping go down on it, but certainly it looks like TMU is going to look to take it. If they do manage to wrestle it away from RIT, I mean, that is huge. We talked about how, you know, we expect RIT to go up 2 Drakes to none, but might not see that happen here. We're seeing Kazekage back, and Haxor has teleport available too.
Yeah, bot lane needs to shove this wave here, right? If the call is go dragon, we want to fight this, you immediately shove bot lane as fast as you can so you have that lane prio bot and you can join up with your team. But instead, it looks like they're want to give it up, or they're kind of, you know, dancing around it, not really being definitive here. We did see Maxander go over the wall on the minimap here, so he's soloing that dragon. So all this bot lane has to do is just maintain bot lane prio and just don't die to this gank here from Viego.
Well, Maxander might be the one who's dying. The teams are cut off here, but Maokai is the target. He's taking a lot of damage. He doesn't root up Geo. Meanwhile, other side of the fight, we're seeing Azir do a lot of damage and manage to take out Maxander as Arkezis is forced off on the other side. Geo getting rifled down under the turret. Can he land the Q? Not quite. Ends up being a 1-for-1, but jungler down on the side of RT. Never mind. Arkezis actually able to pick up a kill in the mid lane. But here comes the Viego. Miano was not aware that he was just going to come in and do just unspeakable things, but the turnaround is there, and Zetus is the one who gets the kill.
Wow, the ultimate coming out from Zetus, the campfire, the shields, everything. That's why Milio is such a high priority pick right now in this meta. Just allows you to live for so long. And yeah, it was a 1-for-1 originally. Arkezis was able to pick up that trailing kill onto Salt, so now Azir can't travel. I was expecting a TP coming out from the way potentially to help this bottom lane out, but Miano and Zetus just had it in the bag. They were completely fine. Dragon doesn't go down, so we might potentially see a second fight for it. Viego not in the vicinity here, but yeah, look at this. Look at Salt.
Yeah, this could be bad. Salt in a little bit of trouble, but another ganker is here to try to stop Maxander. Big double knockup. Pulls him into the wall as well. It's just a crazy combo, and Hui gets 2 kills.
Yeah, and Maxander hits that Manta Ray form. Hui gets 2 kills. They should be completely fine here. I would be indexing into this dragon, right? Because you want to amp that 24-minute, 25-minute Dragon Soul as fast as possible. Instead, Rochester opting into for these skirmishes, but not really getting much out of it, right? Other than kill gold here. As Haxor.
Oh, Haxor couldn't get in front of Kazekage, which means he will be able to escape with his life. But you see what Haxor is doing and is just unabated up in the top lane.
Yeah, and there's not really much this Yanni can do. All right, I thought that dragon was going to get stolen here. Geo throws that super mega death rocket into the dragon, doesn't get anything, and now we do see a Cloud Soul, which is actually not the worst, right? It's not the worst thing, especially if you are playing champions like Aatrox, like Varus, right? The move speed is so valuable on champions like these guys who are much more immobile, like Hui, Varus, and so on. So Cloud Soul, obviously you would have loved Infernal, you would have loved potentially the Hex Tech or anything else, but we could potentially see a 26 to 27 minute Cloud Soul here, and that could just blow the game wide open.
Yeah, not only that, RIT managed to get kills on top of it. Speaking of kills on top, gonna go after Haxor here. Haxor has to try to create some room, but they are just dodging everything. Ooh. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Meowno is able to get a kill in the 2v1, but a 1-for-1 overall across the map.
Geo is getting punished for the crimes of his support right now, right? Hui is doing these roams, right? Basing, running mid, typically what you're supposed to do. But you've got to do that while the lane shoved in, as right now, they're going to opt in for the 6 Grubs and Rift Herald play, which I really like. I think it's the better out of the kind of early game objective plays that you can make, right? Either you want 2 Dragons or you want all 6 Grubs plus Rift Herald. The ability now to drive the Rift Herald into another lane and potentially get 2 turrets off of it is some of the slickest things we've seen pro players do, right? And pro teams do. Oh, you run it mid, take that. We're going to turn it all the way to top lane. We're going to take another tier 1. We're going to just blast the map open. And I want to see if some of these teams have kind of mastered that at the collegiate level.
Yeah, and TMU is going to have to master it, right? Because they are down about 4,000 gold, and they really need to make a play. Like, this is their opportunity. They break down a turret, maybe get a kill or 2 out of it as well. They will be in good shape. Just seeing a little bit of back and forth between everywhere on the map. Viego heading to the bottom lane. Does have that Rift Herald if he wants to use it. But not sure if he will. Wait a minute. Haxor is just going to go in and commit to this fight. Kazekage got chained up, and Haxor is just decimating this Yone right now.
Yeah, that Profane Hydra build is so crazy, right? The lethality Aatrox is back. Stuff of Nightmares has come. Boogeyman is in Meowno, though.
Run him down. Change the corruption. Not up yet, but it's about to be.
One more auto.
Flashing forward, but a nice flash in response from the Jinx. Super Mega Death Rocket gonna land, but no death to be had. The only deaths that are going to occur are the ones of the jungler and support for the side of TMU.
And we talked about Rochester playing with this bot lane priority, right? Playing with the fact that you've got Varus, Milio. Just start diving, start invading the jungle. I love what Maxander's been doing, albeit a little late. He's flexing the Bel'Veth muscles. The Kraken Slayer is available. Your bot lane is so far ahead. This is on-hit Varus as well with lethal tempo, so he's going to be pumping out damage well after the piercing arrow comes out, well after the abilities get thrown. He's still going to be putting a ton of damage here as now. Uh-oh.
Assault forced a flash because of the grasping maul from this way. Assault has just had a really, really rough time. Well, off to the side, Zydus is in a little bit of trouble. He has to flash away, but he will be able to survive. Not really supposed to do that on Milio, huh?
Yeah, he was desynced with his mid and jungle, right? He was potentially looking for a play here. As everybody low health bars on Rochester's side here. Dragon up in a minute and a half. This will allow TMU at the bare minimum to get some vision down. As I say that, nobody's with Maokai here?
Yeah, Maokai forced the flash away. Meanwhile, Rift Herald gets put down over the wall. I guess he thought, like, oh yeah, I've got sweep. So this Rift Herald not going to get much use out of it. You're not going to even see Twitch chat come out.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Rift Herald goes down, takes a chunk off the mid lane, but that's about it. That is the least impactful Rift Herald I have seen in a while. You would have loved to throw that down. What? 20 seconds, 15 seconds before the dragon spawns here. I was going to say TMU, because Rochester had low health bars, they could have walked in and get vision, but it was only we that walked in and tried to get vision here. You've got to help your Maokai. You've got to help your support establish vision in the enemy jungle. You can't have 3 people farming mid lane here, and TMU kind of squander that small opportunity they had against Rochester to establish vision early and stop the dragon stacking.
Yeah, they lost their Rift Herald, they lost their chokehold on the map, and there's potential that they might lose their top laner, but we'll see how that fight progresses. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, they're going to make an engagement onto Arkezis. Arkezis just trying to walk it out for right now. Salt does a lot of damage, but the Hui will survive, although another ganker coming in for another gank, living up to his namesake. He's going to need some assistance here. Is he able to clear out the minions? Another ganker gets knocked up because Maxander here to help out his buddy. Maxander takes a lot of damage. The root's going to come through from this Maokai. Going to root out multiple targets here, and that means the Hui is going to die. Another ganker flashing away. Will he survive? Not quite. Maxander
what is this?
gets the kill. This turret dive is ill-fated, Shibby, and now the Maokai, the only one left alive, and he's on the wrong side of the tracks. Just a matter of if Maxander can get there. Cloud Soul trying to help him out, but he will finally get knocked up. Trees not known for their movement, Shibby, as it's almost assured that this Maokai will fall.
Yeah, and that dive, I'm so unsure as to why another ganker didn't just try to get a hit or execute Arcezius first. He tried to 1v1 the Bel'Veth under the tower. Bel'Veth does damage, man. You can't 1v1 her. They get the kill onto Arcezius, but Maxander just hard carries that fight. And then we see Meowno and Zetus come in on the backside, ready to kind of counter dive or counter the dive here. That allows them to pick up this dragon. And TMU had the right idea. All their players just didn't execute properly, right? If they get the kill first onto Hui, allow Viego to reset, and then potentially turn on to the Bel'Veth as Salt. Oh my god.
He's all right.
It's fine.
He's all right. Sand Soldier's there to help him out. This is why an Emperor does not fight.
Yeah, that dive was just poorly executed from TMU Blue, and they kind of squandered that opportunity. And so now we see, what, a 23, 24-minute potential Cloud Soul for Rochester, and they've also got a 6,000 gold lead. Sorry, 7,000 nearly now. They are in full control of this game. We talked about them having to dominate early, and they did just that. Their AD carry is mega fed. Bel'Veth is mega fed. Hell, even the Hui, who had a pretty solid laning phase, was able to pick up kills top lane and bottom lane. And so now pretty much all the right members for Rochester are ready to siege and are ready to fight TMU at a moment's notice. How long can TMU stall this game out is the question now.
Yeah, and they're just so dangerous, right? Not only, you get a 5v5 chicken match with them, right? And you're getting hit by a bunch of poke, even though it's not poke Varus. Speaking of, the engagement's going to come in onto the Maokai. Here come the roots, but from behind, it's another ganker, but he's going to die before he can kill anyone. Zydus is going to be the target, though. He's going to go down. Teleport's coming in, and now Kazekage whiffs on his ultimate, but Haxor is here, is popping the World Ender. Geo is slowed, and Geo is dead as Haxor continues to lead the charge. Kazekage is going to be the next target, as he is going to get hit with the chains. He's trying to duck dive, dip dive, and dodge. He's going to go over the wall, but is eventually going to get chased down, forces the flash, flashes himself. Maxander gets a kill off screen, but they are going to dive the Yone and take him out. It is more wins for the side of RIT Orange.
Yeah, Rochester, we're on the back foot, but we're able to just kind of turn that fight around. Viego, or another ganker, going down instantly, right? He realistically should not be the first one going in, right? You need your Yone, you need your Azir to scoop somebody so they can allow you to start resetting. If he goes down first in these fights, TMU just never have a shot at winning it, right? Because you lose your reset potential, you lose the guy that can turn around some of these fights, and quite literally, Jinx is just not there. Geo is not at a point in this game where they can contribute to these fights and make a difference. They are so far behind because of this Maokai roaming constantly, forcing the dives onto Geo. You look at the level difference, 10 to 12, right? You also look at the CS difference, just how far ahead Meowno is. And I'm not going to put all the blame onto Geo because Maokai was just ganking and roaming and wasn't really paying attention to what can happen to this Jinx in a side lane, in solo, under that turret.
Yeah, it just feels like maybe a better supportive jungler would have been the pick here. You need picks that are going to be able to support your carries that need time to get online. Maokai is certainly that, but just again, as you mentioned, not buddying up with the Jinx caused a lot of problems. And Salt has done whatever he can to try to keep himself relevant this game, sitting at 3-3. But another ganker, because of the aggressive nature of Viego, it just was not going to work. That being said, Shibby, you and I both know that Baron can be a cruel mistress as the dance begins, but pull off of it. Lots of vision down here, playing some chicken.
Yeah, I like what Rochester's doing, though, right?
Those are Sand Soldiers that just went out. Haxor is just going to try to push forward. Grasping Roots coming out from the Maokai to try to slow everybody down, but Geo is the one who gets picked. And it's going to be a 1-0 as the death ball of RIT continues, and they ping themselves to the Baron.
Yeah, and I love Rochester using the Baron as a team fight tool and just kind of baiting cooldowns out from TMU and then forcing them into a really bad position. They got the kill onto the AD carry. There's less reset potential. There's less danger here. Kazekage does want to do something. Ganker is here. They could go for this deal.
Ganker is going to try to get in, but the Baron's not low enough. It's a smite fight, and it goes over to Maxander, but a double kill from Yone. He goes in and snaps out. Not too bad, but on the back side of the fight, going down is Azir, and this Maokai is going to go down next. So, yeah, Yone's like, guys, I got him, but takes a look at the rest of the team, and it ain't that great.
Yeah, everybody is slain. It's a 3-for-2 overall, and I think Rochester's completely fine with that. Dragon's up in 25 seconds. They're going to clear out this vision. I don't think TMU Blue is in any position to contest this. Cloud Soul early on. They took our advice, Yanni. They pushed the pedal to the metal. They accelerated the game pace, and you look, they're 10,000 gold ahead. TMU have to stall for another 20 minutes.
This is a bit of a risky play, but, you know, Maxander is just too strong, right? Has now hit 10k gold in his own pocket. And when you're able to 1v1 the strongest member of the other team, I mean, you just knew it wasn't going to go so well.
Yeah, 20th Kazekage just not really able to do anything. Stridebreaker, Kraken Slayer in hand. It just feels like TMU has failed to launch, right? The rocket got to the first layer of Earth and started crashing down, right? They couldn't just jettison to outer space. They have not hit that late game point, and I don't think another 10, 20 minutes are going to change that, as Rochester's just not going to give them the time.
Yeah, I think they bought that rocket off of TMU here as mid-inner turret has gone down. And it's all Rochester, right? The world is their oyster. You see Aatrox pushing up in the top lane, looking to claim a fifth turret of the game. Salt gets caught out. And Meowno gets kill number 10. Meanwhile, Viego is just sitting there behind guys. Guys, what's happening is the Maokai is going to get caught out, and he is going to go down. He may have rooted everybody up, but I don't think it's going to matter. Gio is going to be the next target. Maxander going over the wall. Gio has to flash back over the wall. Kazekage, though, is the one who was caught out. Viego said, don't worry, I'll help you out, but he dies too. And Gio is the last one standing. And he is going to get his recall canceled, and he is going to die. That is an ace for the side of RIT as they are pushing into the base for the win.
Yeah, they've got one cannon here, although it's not going to get that debuff onto the turrets. They do need another wave, guys. Just wait a little bit, and you'll be able to end it here. But a really clean game from Rochester, right? They understood their comp's power. They understood where they were strong. They knew what they needed to do. And as they're going to pick up a little bit extra kills on a TMU Blue, Rochester just used the early game strength of the one of those champions that really kind of defines at the moment what kind of AD carry you are and how well of an understanding you have on these champions. But now we are on to Summoner's Rift, Yanni.
Shibby, imagine telling somebody even like 4 years ago that you've got Baby Dragon with a Popstar Seraphine as bot support duo against Twisted Fate Ashe. Like, what kind of Twilight Zone somebody would have gotten into?
Oh man, I'm here for the wackiness. I feel like this season is the most
Oh,
important.
Gio!
Whoa, Gio! That man's honk shoeing. He's honk shoeing right now.
He is indeed honk shoeing. Is he honk meing or is he honk shoeing?
He's in the both, right? You said it's a Twilight Zone. He was in the NyQuil zone because he had no clue what was happening. Rochester just walk up and gold card him and he's dead.
Him sleep.
Yeah, seriously, really dropped the ball there from TMU. I mean, you give the kill over to the Ashe, the support gets it, but I saw Ashe carry his Ashe support. That man played like an 80 carry. He had like 18,000 damage. He out-damaged Gumayusi in one of the games.
Yo, real quick, we're still on 14-3, right? So that does mean that this Ashe could have gone back to pick up World Atlas and chose not to, which I find pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we have been seeing kind of this stuff creep into NACL OQs, and I think NACL as well. LPL is also adopting it, where the support, especially if you're on an aggressive support like this, AD supports, you just take Dorans because it's much better to abuse in lane. As you can see what's happening to Hui right now. He's half health in like a matter of 5 seconds, and then they'll back and take World Atlas because the punishment for not having World Atlas in the first couple of minutes is not that bad because you stack so fast now.
Yeah, and one of the things, talking with multiple coaches, that they've said is the strategy with this is to go and bully your way to a plate. Not only just, you have all this lane power, but you are making things happen with plates.
Salt.
Arceus does a lot of damage to Salt. Does have teleport, no ignite, so Salt still stays upright.
Yeah, and Silas likes this matchup, right? It's super fun for him to kind of dive into the Ari's face, block the charm, and Gio just eats that gold card raw there. Yeah, Silas loves this matchup. It gets even more fun for him when he hits level 6 and he can start trailing the Ari behind while they're ulting away. Really tough for Ari to kind of abuse it, especially because all her potions are down, and Miano is just really using this TF to its full extent. Dropping the gold card under turret, saying, you know what? I know your jungler's not here. My jungler's in the back pocket. I'm going to exert as much lane pressure as possible. And like you said, get that first brick.
Yeah, I'm not sure if taking a turret shot was worth it, but it looks like Miano is totally fine from there. I like Zetas' positioning as well to be able to hit these volleys, but is a little low on mana. And once you get hit by the Achu, you're going to take at least a little bit of damage back.
Yeah, the Achu into Seraphine Q follow-up is almost pretty much guaranteed, right? Like you can get that stun down, you can get a little bit more autos going. But I like how Rochester's bot lane has been playing it, right? They understand they're more powerful. They understand they have lane priority. Let's just make sure our Viego paths towards us, covers the gank, and if they're low enough, if we get them under turret, why not fancy a dive? Max Anders should do it.
Yeah, I love what they're doing. Just, you know, Wave is slow pushing on the other side just because of all this AoE, but Max Ander does show. So, you know, you're going to take a little bit of damage for their troubles, but Miauno is going to take a lot of damage. No Summoner's Burn has to walk it out, but they didn't think Max Ander was still going to be there. Geo in a little bit of trouble, but is going to survive. Also still has Summoners up on top of him.
This is rough. Juicy Maokai, another ganker did back here. They might win this.
Yeah, heal is burnt, Flash is burnt, and Max Sander is burnt. But Zetas is looking for more. Flash for Flash means that he's going to be able to pick up the kill. He is ghosting, but he's got to try to outrun everybody else as he's getting chased down really hard. It looks like he just actually gets out because mid lane is under siege.
To give up the chase here. Zetas, is he going to execute?
No, I like that. That's actually huge. It forced the Flash at Assault, too. Like, what a creative way to execute yourself.
You might as well get some value on the way out, right? It's the best thing to do. You execute yourself, you get a Flash, you type worth in the chat. I feel like they should have kept the chase on if you are another ganker and Hui here, but allowing Zetas to get more value than it's intended, TMU just honestly sleeping on the wheel.
That is really rough, and it just feels like some members have now come into this game very prepared after that game one. You know, and Kazekage just having a rough time up here from what we can see. Down quite a bit of CS, but has some minions to catch. But when you're behind the 8-ball, it's like, okay, we have a Jax. He's got Sheen, but he's also down 12 CS. You're not going to be feeling that great about your chances in this game.
Yeah, we do see potential fight scrap for these grubs. We, once again, roaming here. Earlier left the Jinx.
Everybody's going in, actually, as that's going to be a Spirit Rush burn by the Ahri, and there's going to be a bit of a grub trade going on as Max Ander wants to find a way in, wants to go up 2 grubs to 1, but will be able to just walk away, and will say, I'll take my 1 grub. Thank you.
Yeah, he's just got to deny 1 more, and the 4-2 split is completely fine. And we see Max Ander just running down to that bot lane, going for the grub trade, grub dragon trade here. Arcezius had mid lane prio. Bot lane should be fine, so Miauno and Zetas should have first walk here. Look at Gio. Like, the guy's starved. It's 20 to 51 CS. The man cannot nibble on some minions.
No, he is going to be in a bad way here as well. Gold card locked in here. He's going to burn the cleanse, but Zetas did a great job of taking up the turret. Max Ander is low, but he will be able to walk it out, and the volley means the slows are there. Well executed by RIT.
Gio didn't know the tech. The guy doesn't know the tech for Smolder. He could have avoided that gank completely, because if you use the E, the flap, into the terrain on bot lane, you become untargetable. You essentially become Kayn for 1.5 seconds. That would have been the difference maker there. Well played from Rochester to identify, hey, their bottom lane, their support, their jungler aren't here. You left your Smolder alone. Let's pick on this bot lane once again. Gio has just been getting the short end of the stick here as he plays these scaling bottom laners.
Yeah, the good news is he does have at least a fair amount of damage to issue back here, but yeah, things are in a bad way. He's got a Dark Seal in his inventory, too. 0-3-1 with 22 CS. I'm not sure that's where you want to be with a Dark Seal.
we're scaling, right? We're buying it for the future as Arceus. Ooh, nice charm from Salt.
There goes the
Bottom lane
roots,
gank, though.
and that will mean that Meowno is dead. Good gank there from another ganker, and has 2 stacks of Darksteel. So Geo shutting me up pretty quickly.
Yeah, but 20 stacks on that passive here. That is not trending towards the late game giant, the 200 stacks in 18 minutes smolder that we typically see. This might just be a little bit slower than that. They are going to end up getting that dragon here. Maxander and them could not do anything with that dive onto Geo. They could not go for dragons. They couldn't do anything because of how low they were and how many turret shots that he tanked, as Arceus tanks a turret shot here. Salt has been doing decent into this Silas, but like you said, the Merc tread value coming out. Arceus just playing this lane expertly. Is Kazekaze might die here.
Yeah, he is going to get dove. He does pop the ultimate, but he does get stunned. Maxander will be the benefactor of that game.
Yeah, just on a ganking spree right now. 1-1-3 has participated in 80% of the ganks or the kills here on the map for Rochester. Just showing true jungle dominance right now. Excellent in game 1 on the Belveth. Says, you know what? I'm going to show you how to play Viego. This is how you do it. Has been coordinating dives with his bottom lane, his top laner. Just really, really well played from Maxander so far this series.
Yeah, and you can see in the early leads that they've gotten, and this one is even harder for TMU to try to overcome. Shibby, it is 3,000 gold, less than 10 minutes in. It just feels like it's total domination coming out of RIT. You can take a look at the gold totals: 800, plus 800 in the bot lane, plus 800 in the mid lane, plus 800 in the top lane. It's going to be a little bit more because the stun lock is onto the Seraphine, who's trying to shield, trying to heal, flashes away, and dies.
Ashe, Twisted Fate, once again just flexing their power. This is lethality Ashe as well, right? That W hurts. Every auto stings like a wasp. And so Hui can't really do anything, right? You're getting slowed by the Ashe arrows. You're getting hit up by the Twisted Fate, who's AD as well. You don't have a lot of health because you are an enchanter support. And so you just have to kind of take that punishment, and eventually you just go down. First death for themselves here, and I just love what Rochester's doing. It seems like they just have a better grasp of what the meta is, and they understand how their champions function within each of these lanes. As Zetus and Meowno, they don't know. They don't know.
Oh, X is about to give it to them. Geo is going to be the target, and he's going to get stunned up. He did have plans. Mom is going to come out. Charm's going to come out. A lot of damage on Zetus, who has to flash away, but Meowno is able to flash forward and take him down. Throw some playing cards Gambit, and he is able to teleport away. And Zetus should be able to walk out of the roots just fine.
80 carries can auto-attack. Geo clicked back and forth. Didn't really know how much health he was going to get from that Mom because he threw it down and was running away. Then he's like, oh, I actually have health to fight. Didn't auto, didn't Q, didn't do anything, and just allowed Zetus and Meowno to just kind of rack autos against him. As now Maxander might get punished for this blue invade right now.
Maxander didn't go over the wall. He is trying to sprint over to his turret. Will survive. And that just felt like a scenario where they should have had him, but Maokai knocked him over the wall. Kazekage going at it with Haxor here. He's going to try to land the stun. Good dodge of the riposte means it is going to be a 1v1 kill and a shutdown to Kazekage.
And that's the minigame you play the Jax Fiora, right? Jax has the ability to completely stop that stun early and hit you earlier, but if you wait it out, he can just kind of wait you out with your riposte, as it is a bit of a longer cooldown. Well played from 20th Kazekage here to get that solo kill after getting dove in that top side here, and that might be a carry point for TMU. They've still got late game. They still have Smolder. They still have Jax. Late game menaces in their own right against Rochester, and breathing a little bit of life into this TMU roster.
Yeah, they're going to need to breathe some more, though, because it's a 25 CS lead in the top lane for Haxor, right? And you know that he's just going to be able to rip apart somebody like Smolder, just as long as he can get to them, right?
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? Fiora has a lot of trouble closing the gap. You have to get a flank, but you've got friends like Twisted Fate, like Ashe, who can set up that CC, potentially Silas stealing, like you said, the Maokai ultimate, will just allow this Fiora to close the gap immensely here. I want to see what's going to happen once kind of laning phase is over and how Rochester kind of groups around these. And you mentioned, Jesus, yeah, look at the top lane, look at the mid lane. TMU have no map control right now.
Yeah, they are in a bad way, to just put it mildly, right? You know, they're down, they're down 4 grubs to 2. And it just feels like nothing is going right for their laners. Everybody on the other side is at 100 CS or more, and your side is still looking for your first 100 CS champion. Kazekage, at least the dive protection is there. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, a lot of damage to Hui, who is forced to heal. They're going to be able to root up Zetus, and Zetus doesn't have any summoners to get away, so he's just trying to run. It looks like he will be able to run it out.
Forcing that heal out is crucial. We can potentially look for a dive. Arceus is just putting the work in on Ari right now, right? Just absolutely taking those chains to her face and just dealing so much damage. Yeah, Salt, he's got the Malignant, but Arceus is going to get to that Roa pretty soon, and a 13-14 minute Roa on Silas is well on point. He's going to become a massive mid-game threat.
The bad news for RIT is that their bot lane is pretty low with the dragon up, but they're going to look for an engage onto Geo anyway. Geo going to get over the wall, will be able to survive, but Hui does go down, which means the root is going to come down onto the Maokai. Zetus able to get the kill, but Meowno teleported down there, which means can't help out Maxander. We should be pretty okay with this. Nice ult over the wall. Maxander's super low, but the dragon did not get aggroed until he's able to heal up just a little bit. Being said, Maokai hovering around, knows that, you know, he needs to try to make a play or something, at least force them off the Drake, Shibby.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we don't have Arceus getting that kill over another ganker. Might just be able to pick up this dragon. He actually kills Salt in the mid lane.
Yeah.
So now it's a 1v2, 1v3 potentially.
It's just a 1v1,
Stop
bro.
tanking the dragon! Stop tanking the dragon, Maokai!
Dragon resets, another sapling landing. Meanwhile, in the top lane, 20th Kazekage able to survive for just a little bit longer. Another ganker flashes, but so does a Maxander. Ends up being a flash for flash out of the junglers. Maxander has to reset. He can't really get close to the Drake.
Now the bot lane of TMU Blue is here, so they're going to stop that dragon stacking, which was one of the ways that Rochester could kind of win. I lied. They want to fight this.
They're getting scrappy. They got a lead, and they know how to use it. Meowno going to try to land a stun onto somebody, and it will be the target of another ganker. Another ganker will be able to secure the Drake, but will go down in just a moment. Meowno gets the Seraphine. It is just really bad news here for the side of TMU.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Rochester were so confident in ripping that, but then you look at their bot lane, right? How far ahead are they? You saw that static shiv coming into effect. Serpent's Fang from Zetus. The itemization is there to just contest these dragons. Despite Maxander being so low on health, he relied on his bot lane to kind of get him there.
Salt gets 1v1'd. And
now bot lane?
Yeah, Ashall coming out here. Geo has to run away desperately. Ultimate coming out from Hui, but good sidestep by Zetus. Meowno going to chase him down. He's just too damn strong at this point. Shibby, I told you, he spikes with static shiv, and you're seeing it here.
It's just an insane one-item power spike for the ADTF. And if you're the Smolder side, the fighting's not done, Yanni.
Yeah, it's a 2v2 going on, but a teleport is going to spoil that in just a moment. Maxander takes a little bit of damage. Kazekage's got to try to get out, and Maxander will ult away. It ends up being 0 for 0, but Arceus does grab the grasping roots if he wants to try to go in onto this Maokai. Does not land Abscond Abduct.
Unfortunately, can't fight any longer than that. But Rochester just have an absolute chokehold over this game right now. It feels like TMU Blue have no room to breathe. They have no room to make plays. They can't even kind of walk in their own jungle without potentially this Silas or this Viego being there. Rochester have just played their team composition to a T here. Their bottom lane super far ahead, mid lane as well. They can skirmish you on any objective, on any camp, on any lane, and TMU Blue just kind of have to walk away with their tails tucked between their legs.
They're being very polite Canadians right now. They're going, oops, sorry, my bad. Let me get out of my own jungle here. And listen, that is not a good way to win League of Legends. And in fairness, it's just things were bad from the jump, especially in that bot lane. You see Geo is sitting at 82 CS at 17 minutes. Rift Herald going to the side of RIT. I don't think they'll get Twitch chat for using this. I think it's only on 5 or more, but I could be wrong.
I think if they drive it, they might potentially here, as Kazekage is just trying to survive this top lane right now. And Smolder, yeah, 87 CS. He's probably at like, what, 60 stacks? I don't know if they win this 1v2, by the way. Silas could do it easily.
Let's find out. Arkeezus down to about half HP, but Salt's going to be the target. And the Ashe ult coming through lands right onto the Maokai. The roots come at Meowno. Going to try to chase down Salt. Meanwhile, Arkeezus going against another ganker off to the side. Misses the abduct, but the Kingslayer to heal up. He's up 3 levels. This should be easy pickings. And they're going to chop down a tree. George Washington, a.k.a. Meowno, wants to be the one to pick this one up. But Arkeezus says, no. That one's mine.
Yeah, he just stalled enough for the gold card to come in here. And that bot lane skirmish, I said it was a 1v2. I lied. Meowno came in with the gank because Rift Herald does go down, but we might go down here.
That's just so rough. They use so much to take down Hui there. But that means bot inner turret should go down. More gold to RIT Shibby. This is a massacre. It is now a 12k gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, even more dominant than game 1. Right? We talked about how good that composition was in punishing early. They were at a 10,000 gold lead at roughly like the 20-minute mark. This, like you said, is a 13,000 gold lead at the 19-minute mark. It is insane right now.
Yeah, this is rough, honestly. You know, Geo needs to go watch some How to Train Your Dragon. You know, come back stronger in the future on this champion, because this dude is looking like Toothless. His wing was clipped, and he has not been able to make anything happen all game long. It should be who you're hanging your hat on, right? It's got to be Kazekage, right? He will take them into the next millennium.
You're hanging your hat on a prayer, right? Like, you got to just go 20 minutes deep, right? You got to get to that 40-minute mark. But yeah, Gio's stuck on Baby Dragon. There's no Time Wizard. You can't get to Elder. It sucks right now.
Oh, it's so bad. Charm's coming out, but here comes another ganker. They're going to have an advantage in this fight. It's a 4v2, and Zetus has to run scared, but they're going to go on to the Silas. Silas still alive for right now. Has to flash away, but Kazekage is going to match the flash and try to chase him down. Oh, Jesus. Is he going to try to turn? He is going to heal up a little bit, but he does go down. More gold into the pockets of this Jax.
Yeah, lot of kill gold, lot of shutdown gold, but you're going to need to do that. Let me count on my hands. 1, 2, 3, 20,000 times before TMU Blue can actually kind of have a foothold in this game. My math might be off, Yanni, but I think that's roughly correct.
Yeah, you mentioned no Time Wizard for this Baby Dragon. They're going to have to adopt the Joey Wheeler playstyle of rolling dice and hopefully getting lucky, right? Because this is not what you wanted if you were TMU, obviously, right? They're down so much. I think the team comp was good. I don't think the team comp was particularly bad.
I just think Rochester had a slightly better one, right? Like, they gave TF, they have Ashe,
Like
double support is now mid lane, potentially looking for a pick.
Another shutdown goes into the pockets of TMU. They do lose mid inhibitor turret for it, but listen, you will take the gold.
Oh yeah, we take those here. Salt just trying to get some more gold back in their pocket after that rough laning phase for themselves here. And yeah, there's down ton of gold here. We see Rochester just looking for TMU Blue to face check some of these. They're clearing out the Baron vision as we are hitting that 21-minute mark. And Rochester can just start this Baron and stop it with impunity, right? They don't have to worry about it. The saving grace for TMU here is that there is a Mountain Soul on the menu, and you've got potentially 3 chances to pick that up here, right? You've only got to hit 1 of 3 or 1 of 4 for you to kind of secure that within the next 16 minutes.
Yeah, and that would be such a sigh of relief if they could pick up this one, right? Don't give any power over to RIT, but you can't lose too much for it, right? Because, you know, if you want, you could also just be like, listen, we'll let you have a couple, we'll try to scale up, but should be a problem is you look at these champions and the scaling does not match up. These things are not equal. RIT, I think, just has a superior late game too.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Fiora, you've got TF, who can kind of split you to death. He's got 3 items with the Ginsus into the static, into what is the rapid fire cannon. Also, you just look at Zetus, right? Full lethality, destroys any shielding that you would have hoped to get from the Seraphine. Also just does a ton of damage himself, right? Can quite potentially 1v1 Smolder or Seraphine if he wants to. Because now,
comes
in this
Mom.
Baron,
Oh, there's only going to be a one charm, and that's going to go on to the Silas. They're able to take out Maokai. The next target is Geo. Geo
Geo's
gets
dead.
absconded and abducted, and it is more kills going over to RIT, and they're just pinging for the base now. A couple members are going to head over to Baron, so a bit of a split call means that this game is still alive for now, Shibby. You see this?
oh, see this?
Oh my god, he's flashing forward. He's just styling
clean with it.
on Salt right now, playing with his food. That means a middle inhibitor is going to go down while the rest of the team does take out the Baron. They could be looking for Kazekage here as well. He's going to pop his ultimate, but nothing more is going to happen.
Yeah, they're going to back. They're going to kind of cash some of those checks potentially here, but yeah, I mean, just Zeta styling on him, right? Flashes the charm, full confidence, knows that the Ahri doesn't have ultimate Spirit Rush available. He just autos her down, whittles her to death, and we talked about how far and how much damage this Ashe can do with that Cyclo Sword, with that Serpent's Fang here. I mean, it's just feels so bad for TMU Blue because you know they're just hoping to get it to that 35, 40-minute mark, but Rochester are just slowly tightening their grip like an anaconda and just squeezing the life out of TMU Blue slowly.
Yeah, and that's the problem, Shibby, right? They went to go take a fight because they're like, hey, they're doing Baron. They got an engagement on their terms, and it wasn't the cleanest engagement, but guess what? You gave up 3 deaths, and then they just got the Baron anyway. It just puts you even further behind, makes it harder to secure this dragon. But like you said, Shibby, minute and 15 seconds before this dragon is up. I don't think another Ganker's Flash is going to be available, though, so they're going to have to get creative.
They're going to have to Blast Plant in or, you know, W potentially onto one of the members in the dragon. But realistically, Rochester doesn't have to chance it to a 50-50. If TMU Blue decide to go for this dragon, your base is wide open. Mid lanes has supers pushing down. You still got Baron on you. There's now another ganker, and the rest of TMU Blue are just throwing a hope and a prayer down into that top side. Maybe we catch somebody, maybe we don't. It's a Maokai ultimate. I'll get it back up again.
That is a very big cooldown, though, with this dragon coming up. Meanwhile, the chase is there from the backside, and Maxander trying to get some burst damage out. Ultimate burned by the Seraphine as well, and the flash over the wall. They're looking to end this game. Kazekage pretty low. Another ganker is going to fall, and Kazekage flashing over to get the stun down, but he's going to go down. Haxar flashes away into his healing just enough to stay alive, and Maxander takes over the Jax and takes over the game, and that is it. A 2-0 victory for RIT Orange in 25 minutes.
Rochester's family is ringing the dinner bell, Yanni. It's time for meatloaf and casserole because they are out of here in lickety-split 2-0 sub-26-minute victories for Rochester. Just dominating faction. You pick early game, you get rewarded with the pizza party.